Yo, what's good YouTube? Welcome back to Brain Rot Facts, where we dive into the wildest, most absurd facts that somehow actually worked. Today, we're talking about stupid things in history that were somehow genius. I mean, who needs a Harvard degree when you can just wing it and get lucky? Let me tell you, our ancestors were some wild cards. Like, did you know that ancient Greeks used to wear perfume made from the smelliest fish? Yeah, apparently, they thought stinky was sexy. Who knew? And then there's the time the Romans built a 12-mile-long aqueduct, using just concrete and a whole lot of hope. I mean, what could possibly go wrong, right? It still stands today, by the way. So, either they were geniuses or we're all just really good at pretending. In this episode, we'll be exploring more crazy, genius moments in history that will make you laugh, cry, and maybe even question our collective sanity. So, buckle up, folks. It's gonna be a wild ride. Alright, let's get started. Intro music plays and the host appears on screen with a goofy grin. Host, hey there, brain rotters. Welcome back to Stupid Things in History That Somehow Actually Worked. Today, we're diving into some crazy stuff that'll make you go, wait, what? First up, let's talk about the Wright brothers. You know, those guys who invented the airplane. Yeah, they were basically a couple of dweebs trying to fly a contraption made out of sticks and string. Host, but here's the thing, it kinda worked. Or should I say, it flew, for like 12 seconds before crashing into a field. But hey, that's still more than most of us can say about our first attempts at flying, or playing the harmonica. And then there's the story of the Roman Empire and their trusty old, concrete mixture. Yeah, it was basically just sand, water, and a pinch of magic. I mean, who needs engineering degrees when you've got ancient Roman know-how? Host, apparently, it worked so well that they used it to build roads, buildings, and even the Colosseum. And by worked, I mean, it didn't totally collapse on them immediately. Baby steps, people. And lastly, we've got ancient Egyptian medicine, because what's more fun than getting a toothache and having someone stick a linen strip in your mouth to heal you? Sounds like a real zinger of a time. Host, but hey, at least it was better than the medieval equivalent, which basically involved poking holes in people's skulls with sticks. So, progress, right? Outro. Welcome back to Brain Rot Facts, where we're diving into the most ridiculous, yet somehow effective, historical facts that'll make you wonder how humanity survived without memes. Let's start with this gem from ancient Rome. Yep, you read that right, the Romans used a weird combination of magic and science, don't worry, it was way more fun than it sounds, to build their structures. They believed in this thing called spiritual engineering, where they'd perform rituals to appease the gods before building anything. It's like they were trying to get an A on their Roman architecture exam or something. Laugh. But seriously, they actually used this spiritual engineering to construct some impressive structures, including the Colosseum, one of the most iconic landmarks in Rome. And guess what? It held up for centuries. Maybe those ancient Romans knew something we don't, or maybe it's just a testament to their incredible construction skills and sheer dumb luck, wink. Next up, let's travel back to medieval Europe, where people were convinced that eating the hearts of freshly killed enemies would grant them strength, courage, and, you guessed it, good fortune. It's like they thought they were leveling up in some Dark Ages video game or something. Chuckle, I mean, who needs a protein shake when you can have a bit of Viking-style energy boost? Laugh. And finally, we have the infamous flying pancakes incident from World War II. Essentially, the Allies dropped fake food packets, yes, you read that right, to deceive German troops about the location of Allied forces. It's like they thought those Germans were just one big ol' hungry bear waiting for a snack attack, laugh. Who knew propaganda could be so deliciously absurd? Alright, you guys, let's get into some wild stuff that somehow worked, and by worked, I mean made us question our entire understanding of sanity. First off, have you ever heard of the Great Molasses Flood? Yeah, it was a real thing. In 1919, a storage tank burst in Boston, releasing over 2 million gallons of molasses into the streets. And instead of just letting the sticky mess be, they actually fixed it by building a new harbor. Like, what even is that? It's like if someone poured spaghetti sauce on your kitchen floor and you were like, oh, I'll just build a new floor now. Laugh. But wait, it gets better. In ancient Greece, there was this dude named Hippocrates who thought that, get ready for this, the best way to cure headaches was to give people a little rock concert. Yeah, he'd have his patients listen to music while being massaged. Like, hey, you got a headache? Let me just whip out my lyre and play some sick beats. Laugh, and somehow, it worked. Last but not least, in the 19th century, there was this thing called the water cure. People would treat illnesses by drinking water, straight from the source. Like, if you had a fever, someone would be like, yo, just drink some river water and you'll be golden. Laugh, and again, somehow it worked. Who knew getting sick would require so much hydration? Alright, folks, buckle up because we're about to dive into some historical head-scratchers that somehow actually worked. First off, let's talk about the time humans decided to use, wait for it, elephants as walking batteries. Yes, you read that right. In ancient India, elephants were used to transmit electric currents through a system of metal plates and sticks. It sounds like a crazy idea, but apparently, it worked. Can you imagine walking around with an elephant's tusk attached to your phone charger? Hey, Siri, can you give me directions to the nearest Starbucks, and hold this elephant, please? And if that's not wild enough, let's talk about the infamous dancing plague of 1518. Apparently, a woman in Strasbourg, France started dancing uncontrollably and soon everyone else joined in. It was like the whole city turned into a giant Zumba class, for weeks. I mean, who needs coffee when you have spontaneous dance parties? And finally, let's not forget about the time the US government decided to drop, wait for it, a 9-ton bomb made of ice and explosives on Mount St. Helens in 1980. It sounds like a ridiculous idea, but it was actually part of an effort to reduce ash emissions. I guess that's what they mean by cool science. So there you have it, 3 mind-blowing, or should I say, brain-rotting, historical facts that somehow worked, or did they? You know what's wild? People used to think they could cure scurvy by eating. Wait for it. Lime juice. Yeah, that's right. Sailors would be like, hey, I'm feeling a little anemic, and the doc would be all, don't worry, just drink some lime juice, and you'll be golden. And honestly, it kinda worked, sort of. See, back in the 1700s, James Lind discovered that citrus fruits could help treat scurvy. But let's not get too excited, he didn't exactly do a double-blind study or anything. He just gave some lime juice to sailors and was like, hey, they look better now. Fast forward to the 1800s, and some genius decided to take Lind's idea and run with it, literally. They started adding lime juice to the Royal Navy's daily ration. Because nothing says good morale like a squeeze of citrus in your grog. So, there you have it, lime juice, the original scurvy-fighting hack. Who knew that a little acidity could make all the difference? And that's a wrap on another episode of Brain Rot Facts. I hope you learned something, but let's be real, we're all just trying to forget our own embarrassing history moments. Did you know that in ancient China, they used to use urine as medicine? Yeah, no kidding. They thought it had healing properties. Yeah, because nothing says healing like a nice dose of human pee. And speaking of weird remedies, in the 18th century, people used to drink tea made from opium poppies to cure their headaches. Because, you know, addiction wasn't a thing back then. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, folks. Join me next time on Brain Rot Facts when we'll be exploring even more ridiculous moments in history that somehow actually worked. And remember, just because it's old doesn't mean it's good.